My name is Rochelle Crump, National Women Veterans United President. And joining me here again today is the Cook County Veterans Assistance Commission Interim Superintendent John Stetchew. We're so happy to have you here with us today. I want to thank you so much.
It's my
I
pleasure.
think that, what you're doing now is just a great thing for all of Chicago and Cook County. And it is definitely going to be a great show in order to give our information to our audience. So I'm going to
That's
just
what I'm
start
here.
out by saying that, with the National Women Veterans, that we basically focus on women veterans. And I'm sure that they're still coming to the Veterans Assistance Commission
They are.
for services. And do you see an increase at all on them coming in?
I do. I mean, I don't have, any numbers necessarily from, over the past few years, but I mean, in the short time that I've been there, quite a few of the veterans that have been coming in for assistance have been women.
Okay.
So, it's not like one every once in a while. I mean, they're there on a regular basis.
And that's really good to know because as a veteran myself and you being a veteran also, we know how hard it is sometimes for some of them who are transitioning from military service, those who have been around a long time. And it looks like we have a caller already. How about that? Okay, so
Let's try to help.
let's have our call.
Yeah.
Caller, are you there?
Oh, yes. How are you guys?
Very well, thank
And
you.
I'm sorry. I'm a veteran from Vietnam. I'm 69 years old. My health isn't very good. And I wanted to know,
Can you speak up just a little bit? Having a little hard time of hearing you.
okay, I've been with my doctor for over 20 years, but I just can't afford any more hikes in my prescriptions and stuff. So I was wondering if I went to the doctor over there, I know I'd have to give up my primary doctor. But if I'm accepted with the veterans, could I get transportation in the southeast side of Chicago every time I needed to go see the doctor over there at the vets?
Okay, I'm going to hold you right there. And what I think you said was you're a Vietnam veteran, and your concerns right now are about your VA health care. I'm just summing it up to that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do, because we don't talk about personal issues when it comes to medical and or our personal claims or anything like that, I'm going to be showing you some numbers a little later on, phone numbers. And I'm going to give you an opportunity to get a pen and some paper so that you could take the numbers down. And if you could just call one of us tomorrow and let us, talk to you in more detail about what it is that you need some assistance with, and then we can go from there. Is that good? Is that good for you, caller?
Okay, go ahead. I got a pen and pencil.
Okay, well, I'm going to show the phone number very shortly, okay? Because we want to make sure that we can help you extensively and not just give you a generic answer right now about your issue.
And you mentioned something about transportation. I mean, that's an area that we can try to help you with. So, but give us a call tomorrow if you would.
Okay? And thank you for your service.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to be talking with you a little later again, and we're going to show those numbers and then give one of us a call tomorrow. Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and so as we were saying about women, I have to keep going back to the women because
Sure.
that's what the National Women Veterans United focuses on, and that transition that basically takes place when they're leaving from military and they return back to the community. And a lot of times they've been either, this may not necessarily be the state that they lived in before. So we have a lot of new veterans who wind up here because maybe they were in the Navy at Great Lakes and or, one of the military installations in
Right.
Illinois. So we welcome them. And so just knowing about those benefits is really, really important. And because the VAC does so much for so many veterans, we have to continue to promote the VAC, and, people like yourself, you belong to other organizations as
Yes.
well. And this is really great because you're able to get the information out to the other organizations about VAC. So I'm going to just ask you, tell a little bit about yourself as well, because I know you were here last month and you shared some things about yourself last time. And I know we have new people in the audience. So let's start with that. I know you're the interim superintendent, and
Yes.
congratulations on that.
Thank you. I think.
Yeah. And so, and then we want to get to the hot stuff because we want to make sure we get the information out about the meeting that's coming up and making sure that information gets out to the audience. So tell us a little bit about yourself, in terms of your branch of service and the other organization that you actually are over.
Okay, I was in the United States Army and infantry, but then I became a drill sergeant. So, my claim to fame is I was a drill sergeant in the Army, so I was putting recruits through basic training for the 2 years that I was in. I was drafted during the height of the buildup for the Vietnam War in 67 and 68, so I was in, those 2 full years. Came out, I didn't have to go into the reserves because the reserves were all filled up, because everybody was waiting to try to get into the reserves at
Sure.
that time too. It's not like it is today.
Yes.
But, the reserves play a much different role today than they did back
Absolutely.
then. So, I never really gave it much thought or did very much with veterans or anything military related for a lot of years. Married, you start a family, that kind of thing. But then, about 15 years ago, I talked to a few people, and they had mentioned some organizations to me, and it sounded kind of interesting. So, I joined, the American Legion. I joined Ukrainian American Veterans, which is from my neighborhood.
Yes.
The whole group that I grew up with. I joined the PLAV, the Polish League of American Veterans, the 40 and 8. I belong to Howard County in Indiana. They have the big Vietnam Veterans reunion every year.
Yes.
So I belong to that organization, and it's just very, very satisfying. We started a in our neighborhood, for our community, the Ukrainian community, there's a national museum.
Yes.
And because a lot of our people from our community served, in World War II. Actually, from World War I on, they served in all of the major conflicts, and just have been in the military. So we put together a veterans exhibit at the museum, which I, basically like the curator of. I have a staff that we work together, and
Okay, so
volunteer
you're
staff.
you're volunteering in the museum also.
Yeah, doing a little, trying
Wonderful.
to
A little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah, and but it's been very good because we were able to preserve. I wish this would have started many, many years ago,
Sure.
but we're able to preserve, and we're trying to get pictures and histories and
Yes.
things like that together,
Yes.
so that it's not forgotten.
That
Because
is right.
every community, has the same kind of a story, and we
Yes.
just want to make sure that ours is not forgotten.
Absolutely.
So we're getting a lot of new immigrants coming in from Europe now and whatnot, and they need to be educated on that too. So
Yes.
that's the whole purpose of that. So between that and the organizations, and now with the VAC, it's busy.
Yes, I can imagine.
But it's it's a very satisfying kind of a busy. It's not like I'm complaining because I'm tired or anything like
Right.
that. It's at the end of the day, you feel pretty good because you really feel like you've accomplished something
Yes.
for our fellow vets, and that's what it's all about.
Right. And that's wonderful. And I want to go to this overhead right quick. And I'm going to have you read that. Tell them when the date of the meeting is and a little bit about that meeting. Then we're going to flip back.
Okay, if I can, before I talk about the meeting, just to tell you a little bit about the Veterans Assistance Commission and how it's set up.
Yes.
The VAC is basically an umbrella organization. It embodies all the service organizations that care to participate. Everybody's welcome. That's the AMVETS, Legion, VFW,
Yes.
Vietnam, all the groups, all the state, federally chartered groups, you know, that are legitimate groups. They join, they have a representative at our monthly meetings. We do meet once a month. And, you know, we discuss all these issues, you know,
Yes.
how can we help? You know, because and that body is what runs the office, the superintendent's office. That office is funded by the county, by state law. It's funded by the county, and they're tasked with giving assistance to veterans that are in need. And by assistance, I mean, you know, we can help them with a rent payment, we can help them with a mortgage payment, we can help them with utilities, you know, transportation,
Yes.
food, things like that. We don't have food in our office, but we have the food cards for all these that we can hand out, you know, depending on how many children they have and how
Yes.
big their family is. And we can try to do as much of that for them as possible. So, but that's what, you know, that's why the commission itself, which is the main body,
Yes.
that's why it's so important, because they actually oversee that office. And that office, you know, gets the funds from the county. And it's never enough money, but, I mean, it's a sizable amount.
Sure. But how many veterans do you think come in a month?
Well, yeah, I mean, it varies, but you could have, on a daily basis, you know, sometimes you could have 10, 12, 15 come in.
Sure.
And most of the time, we're able to help them. You know, the big requirement that we have, and that's, you know, by state law also, is that they must have a DD 214.
Yes.
And they must have an honorable discharge, not honorable under other conditions or general or anything. It has to be honorable. That's the way it was set up after World War I, when the state actually put that statute
Sure.
together and formed all these VACs in all the different counties across the state. So if they have that, they come in with that, we can work with them.
Right.
I mean,
And
there's some
now-
other, I'm sorry, there's some other requirements, some income requirements and things like that.
Yes.
But, you know, as long as they have the DD 214, we're going to bend over backwards to try to help them.
Yes. And now you can help them actually apply for their DD 214 also,
Oh, yes,
correct?
absolutely, you know.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, we ask everyone that comes in, we always ask them if they want, you know, we can get them a certified copy from St. Louis, you know, we can fill out the paperwork. It's in a SF-180, we can fill that out and, you know, it'll get mailed back to our office and they'll have it if they need more copies or if there's this freight already or something
Yes,
like that, you know,
yes.
everybody always needs a DD 214.
Yes, and we
so.
hope that they will just continue to get those get their DD 214s, particularly because, you know, life happens when people pass away. It's always an issue about that.
And everybody's always running around, where's the DD 214?
Absolutely, all
So,
the time. So we want to just make sure that people understand, you know, that they can come in to get some assistance with the DD 214, and then they can also apply for those benefits as well. And those benefits basically are very broad, very meaningful, and they help those who are particularly in need.
Yes.
That's the whole purpose
Yes,
of it.
exactly.
Okay, and then what about widows? You know, because we get a lot of information about people wanting to know about widows,
Well,
and that's male and female.
yeah, if they come in, if they come in and they have the DD 214 of their spouse, I mean, we can try to help them. Sure.
Okay.
We definitely try to help them. We can try to defray some of the funeral costs. I mean, you know, we don't have a large budget for that, but I mean, we can give them, you know, a few dollars to help, you know, with the burial. You know, we can you know, recommend Abraham Lincoln or, you know,
Sure.
any other places like that. Or even if they do it privately, you know, we can provide a little bit of money. We can't pay for the whole thing because we're not a rich organization. We
Sure.
don't have that much money, but, you know,
Yes.
we try to do as much as we can. And we're always trying to, you know, up the ante a little bit on our end.
And one of the great things about the organization is that it's not that far from the VA,
No, it's, yeah,
and so they can leave there and they can go and get other services right across the street, including their medical health, you know.
they can
So-
go to Jesse Brown for their medical help. They can go right next, the building right next to Jesse Brown Medical Center is the VA regional office.
Yes.
So they can go in there if they're looking for, to fill out their disability claims and things like that. They can go there, right there, and they have all the experts. It's, that's
Yes.
a wonderful asset that we've got right here in our
Right there.
area. And with all the experts that are there that can help with that and follow, veteran, follow that claim with the veteran all the way until, it's determined whether it's yay or nay. But that's a wonderful thing to have. And then there's us. We're kind of like an emergency
That's right.
kind of an assistance, but there's a place for us too.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of organizations, but yes, it's centrally located and it's really, really nice because
Right.
they come in, if something we can't do, we can send them across the street. We have other organizations that like to come into our office.
Yes.
And if there's something that we can't do for them, we send them to them.
That's right.
We have one, called Inner Voice. They come in once a week, and they sit in one of our offices and, if we can't do something, we'll send them there and chances are they might be able to help them.
And that's great.
Yeah.
That's a great partnership.
So, and we're always looking for those types of partnerships.
Yes.
We've got, a couple of things right now. One of the, ladies that are, that's working in our office, Elizabeth, she has a private kind of a project that she started. And it's accumulating school supplies. She goes to a lot of different retailers and, sets up a deal with them and, she goes in there on a regular basis and they, excuse me, they give her pens and pencils, crayons,
Oh, that's good.
folders, tablets, you
Sure.
name it.
So if they come in with children, there's
So
something else.
and we have all that in the office.
Okay, good.
And every veteran that comes in, and we ask them, if you have children, if you have grandchildren, if you have a niece, a nephew, if you got a neighbor that needs something.
That's right.
We'll give it to them, take them back there, they grab a bunch of things and, it'll help. And
Okay.
you'd be surprised how that stuff adds up.
Oh,
When
yes.
you-
I do. Okay, so I want to just give that address.
Yes,
That address is 1100 South Hamilton, and it's in the Cook County Juvenile Center, and it's in the lower level. And the telephone number is 312-433-6010. And you can also reach the interim superintendent at that number as well. And again, that number is 312-433-6010. And again, the address is 1100 South Hamilton in the Cook County Juvenile Center. And the hours are Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 4:30 p.m. They're closed on weekends and legal holidays. And so, we want to just remind people also that because you have an organization that is basically in collaboration with other veteran organizations, there is an annual or a monthly meeting that's held the majority of the times of the year. And so tell them
Yeah,
a little
that's-
bit about that.
yeah, that's what we started talking about
Yes.
a little while ago. We hold meetings monthly. They're held every month, the last Tuesday of the month. So whatever day that comes out to, sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5.
Sure.
But the last Tuesday of every month, we're off during July and August, like a lot of the organizations are, and we don't meet in December because there's just too many things
Yes.
happening in December.
Absolutely.
But all the other times, we do meet, and we meet at the Jesse Brown Medical Center. And the address there is, what is that,
820.
820 South Damon.
Yes.
And we're in the on the second floor conference room on the Damon side.
Right.
So if anybody's gonna go over there, just we meet at 7:30. So if you want, or 7 o'clock actually, we start getting together. So you can come a little bit earlier. And in order to join the organization, you need to be a member in good standing of your individual organization. And we also ask that you bring a letter from your either commander or chairman or president, whatever the head of your organization is,
Yes.
his title or her title, and that they not certify, but state that you are
In
an
good
active,
standing.
in
and
good
that-
standing and an
Sure.
active member of that organization. And then,
Yes.
we this year we actually came up with membership cards, so we'll be handing those out.
Oh, good.
And, so each organization has the right to have a delegate and an alternate delegate for voting purposes.
Yes.
I mean, they could have more people come to the meeting if they wanted, but, you know, for voting, you know, when it comes to elections or, you know, even on motions that are brought up on the floor, you know, it's only the delegates or the alternate delegate.
Yes. So we want to just reemphasize that organizations that are chartered federally, like the American Legion, DAV, VFW, and those organizations, including community organizations that have a not-for-profit status, and those that are formed basically for veteran benefits and services, are eligible to join the Cook County Veterans Assistance Commission, and as a entity, they must have a letter from their commanding officer from that particular organization indicating that they're in good standing and that they are active in the organization and that they will be designated as your delegate person, and then they will also select an alternate person. And that needs to be on letterhead and signature by that commanding officer of that organization. And we just, you know, continue to ask those that are watching here today to please get the word out about that. The next meeting is on Tuesday, September the 26th. And we're looking forward to those organizations who have not previously been involved or engaged with the Veterans Assistance Commission to come out and meet with those other organizations and ask questions and, you know, just see what it's about. It basically is a great group of people who come together on behalf and for the benefit of those who we serve.
Exactly.
And so we want to make sure that you have that information. Again, it is Tuesday, September the 26th at 7 o'clock p.m. That meeting will be at the VA Jesse Brown Healthcare Center, located at 820 South Damon on the second floor on the Damon side. So please join us at 7 o'clock. And now I want to just kind of go a little bit over about the National Women Veterans United. We want to make sure that we can get our information out about a peer-to-peer brunch that we're having
nice.
for women veterans. Yes, you know, we're often running into a lot of women who have trauma, drama, and, you know, they were honorably discharged, they served, duty, honor, and courage, but you know what? We're still working towards resilience. And so we're calling on women veterans to please give us a call. And you must RSVP for this event. It's free, but you must RSVP for it. So you can contact us at nwvu.org@gmail.com. Okay? And we want others to please, you know, pass the word out and let people know that that event is being held from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and it is by RSVP. So please, you must RSVP for it. Our speaker will be Reverend Alawatoyan Hines, and I mean, she is, as you see, she is very degreed. Masters, 2 masters, a master's in education, a doctorate degree, and you know, she's a wonderful lady and she's full of information. So our peer-to-peer support is being held on Saturday, September the 23rd at 10:30 at the National Women Veterans United. The National Women Veterans United organization, the Illinois Community Women Veterans Center, is located at 7907 South on Racine. It is the only women veterans center in the state of Illinois. Sir, we're out of time. It went by so fast, but I think we got enough information out, so we look forward to seeing you, audience, and your other veterans at the Veterans Assistance Cook County meeting on Tuesday, September the 26th. Thank you for watching CAN TV.
Thank you very much.